Greetings from Edu Aspirants, our YouTube channel to ACE Academics, competitive exams, entrance exams, as also for enrichment of knowledge. In this video, we shall learn about wildlife, as you all must be preparing for the Wild Wisdom Quiz 2026. We should have two parts, one notes and followed by a multiple choice question quiz to prepare you the best. Marine diversity and distribution. Marine biodiversity refers to the immense variety of life forms inhabiting the world's oceans, seas, and estuaries, ranging from microscopic phytoplankton to the blue whale, which is the largest animal ever known to have lived. The distribution of marine life is non-uniform and is primarily driven by environmental factors such as sunlight penetration, temperature, salinity, nutrient availability, and water pressure. Latitudinal gradients. Generally, marine biodiversity peaks in tropical regions, particularly in the Indo-Australian archipelago, often called Coral Triangle, due to stable temperatures and high solar energy. However, biomass, the total mass of living organisms, is often exceptionally high in polar and temperate regions due to nutrient-rich upwelling currents. Vertical stratification. Life changes dramatically from the surface down to the deep sea. Availability of light divides the ocean into distinct zones, creating different habitats that dictate where specific organisms can survive. World beneath the waves. The ocean is divided into distinct zones based on depth and distance from the shore. Pelagic zone, open ocean, which is divided into epipelagic, the sunlit zone 0 to 200 meters, which receives ample sunlight, allows for photosynthesis. It houses nearly 90% of all marine life, including coral reefs, sea turtles, tuna, and vast schools of forage fish. Mesopelagic, the twilight zone 200 to 1000 meters, only faint light penetrates here. Photosynthesis is impossible. Organisms here, like lanternfish and squid, often migrate to the surface at night to feed. Then is the bathypelagic and abyssopelagic, midnight and abyssal zones 1000 to 600,000 meters, about 1 to 6 kilometers down, deep down, pitch black near freezing and under crushing pressure. Life relies on marine snow, detritus falling from above, or chemosynthesis. Then is the benthic zone, ocean floor. This encompasses the sediment and surfaces of the ocean floor, hosting organisms like crabs, sea cucumbers, and deep sea glass sponges. Extreme ecosystems, hydrothermal vents located along mid-ocean ridges where vents spew superheated mineral-rich water. Bacteria here utilize chemosynthesis, converting toxic hydrogen sulfide into energy, forming the foundation of a unique food web completely independent of sunlight. Cold seeps, areas where hydrocarbons like methane bubble out of the seafloor, supporting specialized microbial and clam communities. Life functions underwater, surviving in a fluid, saline environment requires specialized physiological mechanisms, which are respiration. Marine animals must extract oxygen from water or return to the surface to breathe. Fish utilize gills, where water flows over highly vascularized filaments opposite to the direction of blood flow, counter current exchange, maximizing oxygen extraction efficiency. Osmoregulation, maintaining internal water and salt balance is critical. Marine bony fishes are hypotonic to their surroundings, meaning they constantly lose water via osmosis to compensate They drink seawater continuously and actively excrete excess salts through specialized cells in their gills. Marine invertebrates are often osmoconformers, matching their internal salinity to the surrounding ocean. Buoyancy control, staying at a desired depth without expending too much energy is essential. Teleost bony fish use a gas-filled swim bladder to adjust buoyancy. Sharks, lacking a swim bladder, rely on a massive oil-rich liver and dynamic lift generated by their pectoral fins. Next, adaptations and behavior. Evolution has shaped remarkable behaviors and physical traits to help marine organisms hunt, hide, and communicate. Bioluminescence: over 75% of deep sea creatures generate their own light through chemical reactions, usually involving the enzyme luciferase. Remember this. That is used to lure prey, that is, for example, anglerfish does that, confuse predators, glowing ink from deep sea squid, or find mates. Camouflage and counter shading. Many open ocean animals exhibit counter shading, a dark back and a light belly. When viewed from above, their dark backs blend with the deep ocean. When viewed from below, their light bellies blend with the sunlit surface water. Symbiosis. Complex relationships exist across species. A prime example is the mutualistic relationship between hard corals and zooxanthellae, microscopic algae, that is. The coral provides the algae with a protected environment and compounds needed for photosynthesis, while the algae supplies the coral with glucose, oxygen, and vibrant colors. Schooling and migration. Grouping together reduces individual predation risk and improves foraging efficiency. Many large marine mammals, like humpback whales, undertake massive annual migrations from nutrient-rich polar feeding grounds to warm tropical breeding waters. Challenges to ocean health. Human activities have accelerated global threats, pushing marine ecosystems toward critical tipping points. Ocean acidification. The oceans absorb roughly 25 to 30% of anthropogenic carbon dioxide, CO2. When CO2 dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, lowering the ocean's pH. This reduction in pH decreases the availability of carbonate ions, making it incredibly difficult for calcifying organisms like corals, clams, and theropods to build and maintain their calcium carbonate shells. Marine pollution. Millions of tons of plastic enter the ocean annually, breaking down into microplastics that accumulate up the food chain. Chemical runoff from agricultural fertilizers leads to eutrophication, that is, excessive nutrient enrichment that sparks massive algal blooms. When these algae die and decompose, oxygen is stripped from the water, creating hypoxic dead zones. Climate change and warming. Rising sea temperatures cause coral bleaching, where stressed corals expel the vital zooxanthella algae, turning bone white and often starving to death. Marine heat waves are also disrupting traditional migratory patterns and distribution lines. Overfishing. Destructive practices like bottom trawling destroy benthic habits, while overharvesting apex predators like sharks destabilizes entire food webs via trophic cascades. Human-ocean interaction and conservation stewardship. Protecting the ocean requires globally coordinated scientific management and local community action. Marine protected areas, MPAs, designated zones where human activity like fishing and mining is restricted or entirely prohibited. MPAs act as ecological sanctuaries, allowing degraded fish stocks and habitats to recover and replenish adjacent non-protected waters. Sustainable fisheries management, implementing catch limits, that is quotas, enforcing bans on destructive gear, and establishing international treaties such as the UN High Seas Treaty to protect biodiversity in international waters. Habitat restoration, active human interventions like planting mangrove forests, restoring salt marshes, and constructing artificial reefs to kickstart coral regrowth. Mangroves and coastal wetlands are also critical in climate mitigation as they sequester vast amounts of blue carbon, that is, carbon stored in coastal and marine ecosystems. Let us now attempt a quiz. It is all based on the theory that we just heard. Which zone of the ocean is completely devoid of sunlight, forcing organisms to rely on marine snow or chemosynthesis for survival? The choices are given here. Mark your choice. The correct answer is C, bathypelagic zone. And why? It is given here from the notes only. 2. How do marine bony fishes primarily adapt to live in an environment where the surrounding water is much saltier than their internal fluids, that is the body fluids? And the choices are mark your choice. The correct answer is B. They continuously drink seawater and actively excrete excess salts through their gills. So the body structure is in such a manner. Next, what is the primary chemical consequence of ocean acidification that directly threatens calcifying organisms like corals and shellfish? Let us see the choices. Mark your answer. The correct answer is C, a reduction in availability of carbonate ions necessary to build shells. Why? The reason is given here also. 4. The mutualistic relationship between hard corals and zooxanthellae algae is a classic marine symbiosis. What critical resource does the coral provide to the algae? Remember this. These are the choices. And the correct choice is B, a protected environment and carbon dioxide / nutrients for photosynthesis to be done by the algae. Next, what ecological phenomenon occurs when agricultural runoff causes eutrophication, leading to severe oxygen depletion in a body of water? And the choices are given here for your answer. Mark your choice and see the correct answer is D, hypoxic dead zone. And this is the reason as taken from your notes that you heard before this quiz. Let us see some short answer questions. Why are oceans important for life on Earth? Can you answer? Oceans regulate climate, support biodiversity, produce oxygen, provide food, and maintain ecological balance. How do marine animals survive in oceans? See if you can answer. The correct answer is they use adaptations such as bioluminescence, pressure resistance bodies, and special feeding methods. What are coral reefs? Coral reefs are underwater ecosystems built by tiny coral animals that provide shelter to many marine species. Next, name 2 threats to ocean health: plastic pollution and climate change. Very important to understand. How can humans help conserve oceans? they can at least prevent this? And the answer is by reducing pollution, protecting marine habitats, using resources sustainably, and spreading awareness. Now we take on some high order thinking questions. Why do deep sea animals need special adaptations? And the answer is deep sea environments have extreme pressure, low light, and limited food. So animals need special adaptations to survive. How does plastic pollution affect the ocean food chain? Answered? Let us see if you have answered it correct. Marine animals may eat plastic, which can cause injury or death and disturb the balance of the food chain. Why is ocean conservation important for future generations? Not very difficult. Try. The correct answer is protecting oceans ensures biodiversity, food resources, climate stability, and healthy ecosystems for future generations. 10 more questions. Let us try these. Which ocean zone is characterized by the complete absence of sunlight and relies primarily on marine snow as the base of the food web? The food web is there, and the correct answer is B. Abyssopelagic zone, pitch black, near freezing and under crushing pressure. How do most marine teleost bonyfish maintain osmotic balance in a hypertonic environment? And the choices are given here. Mark yours. The correct answer is C. Drinking seawater and excreting salt. Marine fish lose water via osmosis, so they must ingest seawater and use chloride cells in their gills to actively transport salts out. What is the primary source of energy for ecosystems found at hydrothermal vents? Check the choices and the correct answer. Mark yours. The correct answer is A. Chemosynthesis. Bacteria oxidize hydrogen sulfide from the vents to produce organic matter, forming the foundation of the vent food web. Which physiological adaptation allows deep sea organisms to prevent their cell membranes from becoming too rigid under extreme hydrostatic pressure? And the choices are here for you to find the correct choice as your answer. And the answer is C. Increasing unsaturated fatty acids. Unsaturated fats stay fluid at lower temperatures and high pressures, preventing the membrane from freezing or cracking. What is the primary chemical consequence of increased CO2 absorption by the oceans regarding calcifying organisms? These are the choices, and the correct answer is A. Decreased carbonate ion availability. As CO2 dissolves, it forms carbonic acid, which releases hydrogen ions that bind with carbonate, making it unavailable for shell building. What phenomenon occurs when excess nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus enter coastal waters and lead to dead zones? These are the choices, and the correct answer, I know you have marked it correct, it is A. Eutrophication. Nutrient runoff triggers algal blooms. When the algae die and decompose, bacteria consume the dissolved oxygen, leading to hypoxia. Countershading is a common form of marine camouflage. How is it typically structured in pelagic fish? These are the choices. You have to find the correct answer, and the correct choice is D. Dark dorsal and light ventral side. Dark back blends with the depths when seen from above, while a light belly blends with the bright surface when seen from below. Which of the following is considered a keystone species in kelp forest ecosystems? These are the choices, and the correct answer is B. Sea otter. Sea otters control sea urchin populations. Without them, urchins overgraze the kelp, turning the area into an urchin barren. How does the process of biomagnification affect top-tier marine predators like tuna and swordfish? The choices are given here for the correct choice to mark, and the correct answer is A. Higher concentrations of heavy metals. Toxins like methyl mercury do not break down and instead accumulate in higher concentrations at each successive trophic level. Which conservation tool involves designing specific areas where fishing and extractive activities are restricted or prohibited? Yes, you have heard this also in the previous slides, and the correct choice is A. Marine protected areas. MPAs provide refuge for species to recover, which can then spill over into surrounding waters to bolster local fisheries. Let us see if you can mark the true sentences. All marine animals breathe using gills. True or false? It is false. Fish use fins to help them move through water. True, false? True. Camouflage helps marine animals avoid predators. This should be true. Ocean pollution affects only marine plants. False, it affects everything that is there, whether it is corals or animals. Coral reefs support many different marine species. What do you think? Should be true? Yes. Climate change can affect ocean ecosystems. That is also true. Reducing plastic waste helps protect ocean life. Yes, true. Humans do not depend on oceans for resources. Absolutely false. Yes. Some more MCQs. What percentage of Earth's surface is covered by oceans? You know this? Yes, 71%. C. Which organ helps fish breathe underwater? Gills. Which marine animal is the largest animal on Earth? Blue whale. What is bioluminescence? Production of light by organisms. Which animal is known for changing its color for camouflage? Yes, octopus. What causes coral bleaching? The correct choice is B. Rising ocean temperatures and stress. What is the main problem caused by plastic pollution? It harms marine organisms. Which ecosystem is known as a nursery for many marine species? Mangroves. Dolphins communicate mainly using sounds and clicks. Which activity helps protect oceans? Yes, reducing plastic use. Next, coral bleaching is mainly caused by increased ocean temperatures and environmental stress. Plastic pollution harms marine life because animals may eat it or become trapped in it. Ocean acidification is linked to increased levels of oxygen, CO2, nitrogen, hydrogen. It is B, carbon dioxide. Overfishing can result in B, damage to marine food chains. Which habitat provides important shelter and breeding areas for many marine species? Mangroves. Oceans help humans by providing what all? B, food, climate regulation, and resources. A marine protected area is created to protect marine ecosystems and species. Which action helps conserve oceans? Mark your choice. It is reducing plastic use. Sustainable fishing means, mark your choice. B. Fishing in a way that maintains fish populations. Conservation stewardship means, yes, choices are given here for you to mark. The correct answer is B. Taking responsibility for protecting nature. This brings us to the end of this video on wildlife. I'm sure you enjoyed this, and this is important for our biodiversity on this earth, so our generations could sustain. Subscribe, like, share, and do press the bell icon for updates. You have a worldwide quiz also, which will be in these months of July, August, September, and this will help you prepare. Best of luck.